Hi everybody, Boma Fett here, back with a new season of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes Grand Arena Championships. This is Season 10, Week 1, Round 1, and we're back to 3v3. My opponent this first round is TheFakeNews. Now, I've been on vacation the last 5 days for my wife's birthday, so I was able to record, but the audio got messed up. So I'm doing a little after-the-fact VO here, and we're going to take a look at TheFakeNews' roster. So you can see we've got Darth Revan, all Relic 7 Darth Revan squad in the arena, and Thrawn and Bugs in the Fleet arena. And looking at capital ships, there's no Malevolence, there's no Negotiator, there's a 4-star Finalizer. We've got Chimera as the main ship, and that's the one, according to GAC history, that TheFakeNews usually puts on defense. So that was what I was expecting on defense, was the arena squad, the Chimera with the Geonosians. Now looking at the character roster, you can see here there are 11 Relic characters, and I think I have a couple more. I have like 13, but look at all of those Relic 7s. TheFakeNews actually has more Relic levels than I have because of all these Relic 7 characters. My highest is a Relic 6, and I've got one of those. Most of mine are Relic 4. And so overall, more Relic levels here for TheFakeNews, although not as many different factions represented as I have. Now, scrolling down, we can see a whole bunch of Gear 12 here. TheFakeNews has about 3 times the number of Gear 12 as I have. They have a significant number of Gear 11, so overall they have more usable roster than I have. You can see characters like Wat Tambor there. But they do have a few key characters who are under-geared. C-3PO here is Gear 8. We've got 5s at Gear 8. ARC Trooper, Echo, and Rex are Gear 7. Hux is Gear 7. Sith Trooper is Gear 7. We've got Cara Dune at Gear 1, Emphas Nest at Gear 1, Grief Karga Gear 1, L337 Gear 1. The Resistance heroes are both Gear 1, Shaak Ti, the Mandalorian, and 3PO and Chewie, all Gear 1. So this is a very solid roster, but there are some key characters that are under-geared. Now, before we look at the defenses, let me just say, according to GAC history, TheFakeNews often does not really participate in GAC. They either don't sign up, or they do sign up, but they don't bother to set defenses. There are whole weeks where they just let the auto-set defense go. There are lots of cases where they don't attack. But in the last 5v5, they were very active. So I was expecting them to actually participate. The thing was, I wasn't quite sure what kind of defense to expect. And I kind of wish that I had held more for offense. I think I set a little bit too tough a defense. You can see here I've got Poggle with Separatist droids. I've got Saj, Night Sisters. I've got Bosk with Grief and Dengar. And I've got Newt, Jango, and Sunfac. In the bottom here, I've got this General Kenobi Timeout squad. I've got General Grievous, and I've got Vader with Malak. So these are my 3 toughest defensive squads, I think. And I've put them all together in this zone to block the back character zone. So if he's going to attack, he'll attack up top, and then he'll have to go after my ships. In the back, if he does get back here, I've got Karth, I've got leftover Rebels, leftover Bounty Hunters, and Hux and Kylo Ren, First Order. So this back zone is just kind of throwaway squads, but I really didn't expect him to get to this back zone. And if he did, he wouldn't have much left, and so I might get a lucky hold or two from one of these squads. But looking at what he put on defense, it would be a stretch for him to get to that back zone. He's got General Grievous, Talzin Night Sisters, Padme, and Jedi Knight Revan on the top. On the bottom, he's got Darth Revan, the Triumvirate, and the Geonosians. So he's got, I think, 5 or 6 of his top squads. He's left himself very little for offense here. And when I saw this, I really wished that I had saved more for offense and put less on defense. I should have paid a little bit more attention to the GAC history, the weeks that he did actually participate, because he was setting really tough defenses when he set defenses. I just kind of figured he doesn't participate much, I should have an easy win. So I actually, after seeing that defense, I thought, well, he didn't leave himself anything for offense. He probably won't even bother to attack. So I just need to clear either the top or the bottom. So pick one of those 2 zones. I knew that I was not going to be able to clear both of them. I would just have to clear, bottom, front and back, or top, front and back. And my concern about going bottom was that what if he put really tough squads in the back on the bottom? I get through those front squads, but maybe I have to burn a few squads to get through, and then I don't have enough to clear the back. That would leave me clearing only one zone. And so I made up my mind that I had to clear the top, and I'd be able to get through the top and the ships, and then I could go for the bottom zone and maybe clear a couple of those squads. I should be able to clear the Geos and probably the Triumvirate. That was my thinking, but I didn't think there was any way I was going to have anything left for that Darth Revan squad. So that was my thinking going into it. And then he surprised me, because when I came back later to actually do my attacks, he had cleared 2 of my zones. So this front top zone, he one-shot all 4 of those squads, first time. In the back, however, my ships, it took him 4 battles to get through my home 1. So that's the best my fleet has ever done, short of just completely stopping the other squad. On the bottom here, he took 3 battles against my timeout squad, and guess what? He timed out every time. He wasn't able to kill any of my characters, or if he did, Jolie revived them, which is how that squad is designed to work. So I knew if I could clear 2 zones just like I planned, I should be able to get the win. I just had to be a little bit more efficient than he was, because he took those 4 battles against my ships. So I decided to go against the top zone. I didn't know if I'd be able to beat the Darth Revan squad, but I knew that I could beat the squads on the top, plus a couple of the squads on the bottom, plus the ships. So that was my goal. I went in first against General Grievous with my Jedi Knight Revan. There was no taunting tank, and so I was able to mark Grievous right away. But I kind of made a mistake here. I love Old Ben actually for the ability block here against Grievous. That's actually a great thing. But you'll notice I'm not doing AoEs. I'm not doing AoEs because I don't want to trigger B2. But on the other hand, I'm also not knocking down the stacks of B1. And so you're going to notice that Grievous is going to keep gaining back health and protection from B1. So eventually, coming up pretty soon here, I'm going to finally realize I should be knocking down those stacks. And so I'm going to start doing more AoEs with both Revan and Yoda. So here we go. Now I start doing some AoEs. Now one of the things here is I don't have Jolie. So Yoda got pretty low there. And I wasn't sure if I had procced Savior yet or not. So the heal there was really clutch by Revan. And it knocked down stacks on B1. So it took, what, 3 or 4 marks for me to finally get through Revan, but once I'm through him, these other 2 droids don't have enough to knock out my guys. So at this point, it's just a matter of trying to recover protection by calling assists. So each time you call an assist, the characters are recovering health and protection. Revan's a little low and Yoda was a little low. So I ended up with 52 banners there, which isn't terrible. So next, I'm going to go after his Jedi Knight Revan, and I'm going to take in my Padme squad. And I know that Jedi Revan is often used as a counter to Padme. I often use him as a counter to Padme. But you have to know how to play it right, because Padme squads gain protection up when you call assists or you counterattack, when you attack out of turn. And the AI doesn't realize that, and so it calls a ton of assists. And that helps your Padme squad to stay alive. Now, the thing is that the marked character gets the buff immunity. So Ahsoka has buff immunity, so she's not gaining the protection up. And so she's immediately in a bunch of trouble. Meanwhile, I keep attacking his Jedi Knight Revan, trying to proc Savior. And there I finally did, and they killed my Ahsoka. The thing is that the Jedi Revan is the only relict character on this squad, so I really should have been going after the other 2. Now I've switched to Jolee in order to get rid of the revive, and Jolee went down really quickly, so I probably should have been going after Jolee the whole time. But you can see that I still haven't really learned my lesson, because now I'm going back after Jedi Revan. And it's really like banging my head against a brick wall. I get nowhere with Jedi Revan here. I attack him when he has foresight, like that. Luckily, he keeps switching his mark back and forth. Had he concentrated just on Anakin, I think that they could have taken out Anakin or Padme, one or the other. They could have probably killed one of my other characters, and then I would have been done. But they didn't. They kept switching back and forth, and that kind of saved me. So eventually here, I'm going to get smart, and I'm going to realize right here, oh, he's got foresight. Switch to Bastila. And so I switch to Bastila, and I'm going to stay on Bastila. I haven't made any progress against Revan, so I'm going to see if I can work down Bastila. Again, they're getting my characters low. I killed Bastila right when I needed to, and that gave Padme a chance to heal up. But you see, he switched to Anakin instead of attacking Padme again. So I got lucky that the AI is dumb. So 48 banners is terrible, terrible. But I got through it in one, so that's fine. Now this next battle, I'm going to go against his Padme. And I'm going to take in my Palpatine squad, because Palpatine is a counter to Padme without C-3PO. Except, I take in Dooku instead of Thrawn, and I really needed Thrawn's fracture. Now things actually start off really well here. Dooku's going to get a couple of stuns, or a stun on Anakin. I get the fear out there. Palpatine comes in and gets a stun on Ahsoka. I get another stun on Anakin. I'm getting Anakin low. I put a shock out there. I put a shock on Ahsoka in order to feed more turn meter to Palpatine. I almost killed Anakin, and then Padme saved him and gave him a whole bunch of stacks of protection up. And at that point, the battle's over, because that gets converted to courage. He does huge damage against my guys. I'm no longer able to get the shocks or stuns because of the protection up. So I missed my window of opportunity. If I had had that fracture, I think I could have won. So now I'm in trouble. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What's my plan B for Padme? So I go through my squads. I'm looking at this Bastila squad with Ezra and Kanan. And at first I select that, but then it occurs to me, you know, they call a lot of assists, and Kanan does a lot of counterattacking. That's not going to be good against a Padme squad. So instead I decide to take my Darth Revan, and I'm scrolling down here. I take HK. I'm looking at Thrawn, but then I decide to go get Marauder instead. You can see my wheels turning here as I'm doing this. I grab Marauder, but then look, I scroll back up. Oh, I went too far. So I scroll back down. There's Thrawn. I'm looking at Thrawn. Should I take Thrawn? I think I should take Thrawn. No, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should. Should I? Maybe no. Yes, no. Took me a minute, and then I went in without him, like a dummy. So I decide I'm going to go after Anakin. Almost got him done, and then look, Padme heals him again, and he's got that protection up again. Luckily, my guys hit hard enough, I get through that protection up, but Marauder goes down. HK comes to the rescue, gets rid of Anakin. I should have gone after Ahsoka here. I might have been able to kill Ahsoka, but instead I switched to Padme for some reason, and then she kills Darth Revan. So I've lost twice now. Things are not looking good. So I decide to take in that Bastila squad, and I'll just be smart about it, and I won't call any assists. So, of course, their turn meter loaded, so they go first. But you see, I didn't spread buffs there. I wanted to. There's a dodge. The only thing I couldn't control is that Kanan automatically counterattacks. So I got rid of Ahsoka pretty quickly. Kanan keeps counterattacking, and each time he counterattacks, he's given more protection up to Padme. So I'm starting to regret taking in Kanan at this point. But Kanan can take a punch, so he's at least saving my other characters from that. But you can see I have an opportunity there to taunt with Kanan again, and I didn't. I just did a basic attack, because if he's not taunting, she won't attack him as often, he won't counterattack. So I'm going to do the other two abilities with Kanan rather than taunting. So I actually got a little bit smart here. I'm a little bit proud of myself for recognizing that as quickly as I did and not taunting with Kanan anymore. So 23 banners is shameful. Shameful. So now I've got the Night Sisters here, and I'm going to take in the First Order with Watt. I'm sure you've seen this done before. This is a fairly common counter. Put the taunting tech on Kylo Ren unmasked. Of course, I don't use Watt very often, so I had to read which one is which. I finally figured it out. I put the taunting tech on Kylo Ren. I put the weapons tech onto Executioner. And now, of course, the strategy is have Executioner make the kills, and that way they don't revive this zombie, and Daka can also will not be able to revive them. So I'm working on Daka here. You know, as I watch this back, I'm realizing I think I kept doing the wrong move with Watt. I should have been doing his heal move, and I was doing his protection move instead. So there, Daka died, but she died from damage over time. And so it didn't revive with zombie, which is great, but it does revive when Talzin does her attack. And so right there, she revived. So the damage over time death is not as good as having Executioner kill her off. But you can see Talzin is weak at this point. Executioner is able to get the kill and kill zombie. These two guys both have full health and protection, but I did lose Watt to the plague, so I end with 51 banners. So I've cleared the front zone. And in the back is, as expected, Thrawn with the Geonosians. Oh, it wouldn't let me select that zone. Apparently there was a weird bug. My brother had the same problem. He couldn't select the ship zone. I kept trying. I could select other zones, but I had to back out and go back in order to select the ship zone. But there it is, Thrawn with the Geos. So I take in my negotiator, and Houndstooth, Anakin, Fives, Snips, and Sarge, and I'm going to leave the other two slots empty, because at this point I'm a little bit worried because I lost so many battles and lost characters in that front zone that I really shouldn't have. So this battle is a mismatch. They do some damage there to Anakin, but it's not a big deal. I really like Fives for the big hit here that takes out Spy. There goes Sunfac. I'll bring in Snips here to attack Soldier. Get rid of the buff. Bye-bye. Real quick, easy 65. So at this point, I have the win, barely, by 8 banners. 1626 to 1618. But I want to add a little padding. I go in against the Geonosians with the Triumvirate. Now I was a little bit nervous here, because the Brood Alpha is relic. So I was a little concerned, but Spy was not. And Spy is the real damage dealer in this group. They did manage to get my Nihilist down pretty low, there into the yellow. But really, watch what happens here when I isolate the Brute. Now, you remember the Geonosians, they share a health pool, right? But watch, the Brute's health keeps going up, even though it has healing immunity on it. While all the other Geo's healths are going down, the Brute's health keeps going up. What is going on there? That's got to be a bug, right? I've never seen that before. I don't know how that was happening. He's isolated, so maybe he's not sharing his health pool with the others anymore? But that was really weird. Luckily, Annihilate took care of it. I ended with a 51, which I was happy with. But that was a really weird bug there on the bugs. So now I'm going to get kind of experimental. I figure I've got it won at this point. He's not going to come back and clear my squads. So I'm going against Darth Revan, and I decide I'm going to do this weird combination of Chewbacca, Han Solo, and Chewpio. There's no leadership here, but Chewpio's unique kind of acts as a leadership ability, and here I figure Chewbacca will give guard to Chewpio, making Chewpio more viable. So he won't be as squishy. He should last a little bit longer. At least that's what I think. I go after Bastila, but yeah, it's over really quickly. So that was a mistake. I am still intrigued by that combo. So now, the other thing that I wanted to try out was this CLS squad with Sabine and Zeb. You forget sometimes that the Phoenix are rebels. So I take them in against the Triumvirate. And again, I'm a little bit dumb. I turned on the Do Not Disturb there. A little bit dumb. I should be going after Nihilus, but instead I focus on Traya. And then Scion's taunting now because they all have pain, and I'm kind of screwed at this point. Now CLS can go around the taunt, but again I focus on Traya when really I should be going after Nihilus. I get an armor shred, which is great. But this is just not working the way that I had hoped it would work. At least not against the Triumvirate. This combo might work in other cases, but it's not going to work against the Triumvirate. Sabine. You can see I finally realized, oh, I should be going after Nihilus. But it's too little too late. There goes CLS. And there goes Zeb. So who do I have that could take out the Triumvirate? So I'm kind of down to the dregs of my squads now, but the clones jump out to me as a squad that might work. I really like Rex, Fives, and Echo together in 3v3 instead of Shock T, because with Shock T, when Fives makes the sacrifice, there's only one other clone there to benefit. But here, when I've got 3 clones together, when Fives makes the sacrifice, which is about to happen, then you have both Rex and Echo, who become Super Troopers. So now I've got 2 Super Troopers instead of Shock T and a Super Trooper. And I really love how quickly Rex gets to the Rexecute in 3v3. There it is again. And 28, which is not great banners, but again, I had the win sewn up at this point. It's not that big a deal to me. I know there's the GA Center now that's like doing kind of a competition between all of the different GAC YouTubers and Twitch streamers. But whatever, you know, I'm not going to let that dictate how I play. And just to prove that point, you can see the videos jumped into super fast forward. I took pretty much every team that I had left and I threw it against that Darth Revan squad, and I just racked up the defeats. Yeah, on my GAC center, it's going to show that I had a whole bunch of defeats, and that's because of this. I took 10 squads against this one Darth Revan squad, even though I knew none of them stood a chance. I was just being silly and having fun. And yeah, I mean, you can see how quick each of these battles were. It was absurd. So, here we go, 10 losses to that Darth Revan squad. This is how it ended, 1705 to 1618. So thank you to the Fake News for the match, and thank you all for watching. I will see you next time.